there's a lot of talk of passive income, how to supplement your regular 9 to 5 job with additional income through passive income sources, or just how to hustle on the side to make a little extra money. And I feel like over the last few years, especially during the pandemic, maybe because it was people were working remotely. I mean, I heard of people actually getting additional jobs that it was just possible because you weren't having to commute to work, you had a lot more time, the bills were still there to be paid, but a lot of people focused on making a little extra money. And how has that actually become? How has that gone from being something that was supplemental to now today almost being a necessity that you have some sort of passive income or a side hustle in the works, especially around our age when you're trying to make it or trying to set it up so that you're more stable in the future? I don't know if you've noticed that or if that's something that has been on your radar for the past few years.
No, I mean for sure. The whole fire movement that started a couple of years ago. It was an idea, a fantastic idea, but now it's kind of taken center stage. And what's ironic is that the fire movement talks about financial independence, retire early, but the hustle culture today has no focus on just retiring early. At this point, if you just want to make ends meet today in your present, and if you want to have a decent, sober retirement, at 60, you have to hustle
Hmm.
because the income to expense ratios are so skewed today, especially after COVID. Home prices are through the roof, salaries have not budged, grocery prices are ridiculous. So the idea of hustling for a second job or a side activity or passive income, it's a reality that's sinking in for most households, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you're of course married and you have a family, and we'll get to that. But I mean, for someone like myself, who's a single income household, it became an issue when I tried to, qualify for a mortgage. Because
Hmm.
if you're a single person and your income is, say, in the six figures, and I live in Toronto, where home prices are well above $1 million, you will not qualify based on your single income for any of those mortgages.
Stuff is expensive. We are right now in the middle of probably the highest inflation I've seen in this country, in the United States, and I'm assuming everywhere. I've heard people in India say the same thing. Things are expensive today.
In
And
decades.
a lot of the times, your job salary is not going to grow to even match inflation.
No.
Annually, you might get a raise 3% or whatever minimum is required
Yeah.
to give you that, just to give you something a little extra for the next year. But that's not even enough to meet inflation these days. So it's gone from becoming one of those things where it's nice to have that additional income so that I can save it or put it towards, I might want a pool in my backyard, I might want an extra hot tub, something nice, to almost becoming everything's so expensive now. Even buying eggs, just buying eggs. Once you start adding up all the things like the eggs and the chicken and the whatever, like it's
Yeah.
all additional expenses, and no one else is going to offer you that money to pay for that. So either you have two options: either you find something on the side outside of your regular 9 to 5 which is stable to make money,
Yeah.
or you cut back. Suddenly you're not eating eggs, suddenly you're not going out a whole
Yeah.
lot. And a lot of people don't want to do that. People don't want to. It's a lot harder to live that Spartan lifestyle.
I want to talk about, some of the popular side hustles that people have today. I mean, some of them are really innovative. Some of them are most of them I would say are very creative.
Hmm.
I think, this platform right here of YouTube is a huge source of side hustle for a lot of people, to the point where it's becoming their main game. It's far more rewarding if you make it.
Yeah.
In quotes, make it. Very
Right.
few people actually do. But people look at it. It's like, if you can make an extra $1,000 a month from this,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it is one of those things that is, um, there's always that initial inertia when you start something new.
Yeah.
So whether it's real estate, whether it's something like this that's creative, YouTube, to grow that subscriber base, to grow that capital initially, to invest in real estate, it takes a lot of time to start.
Yeah.
But once you get the ball rolling, it is one of those things that starts to pay for itself over time. So, yes, stuff like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, OnlyFans, a lot of it is people. There's a million people probably trying to do the same thing that you're doing to get it going. But the fact that people are turning to that and those numbers exist, that there's that many people trying, shows you how many people have noticed and recognized the potential.
Thing we were talking about the other day is like a lot of people I've noticed don't aim to do very well at work. Like they're very happy once they reach a certain position or a designation at a company and with a certain level of responsibility. And the reason for that is because they also want the time to be able to focus on the side hustles.
Yeah. Okay, I'll phrase it a little differently. I don't know if I'd say do well at work, because yes, I would have said to do well at work, you need to keep climbing that ladder. So you go from being an employee
Yeah.
to some sort of manager to middle manager to whatever, top
Upper
manager.
management,
right?
CEO, whatever, yeah.
But it depends on what your goal is. Some people really enjoy that climb and really enjoy those positions of responsibility. I've seen other people for whom that additional responsibility, there's a point of diminishing returns. So
Absolutely.
they're happy with the type of work they're doing at a certain level, and they're happy to stay at that level only because they enjoy the work so much more. They know that if they become manager of this, that, and the other, it's taking away from the thing that they actually enjoy doing. But those people, so there's two types of people that stay here. There's either the ones that kind of stay there and they're happy to retire in that
Yeah.
position. I don't know what their finances look like, honestly, because
I do.
yes, a lot of those people and these are the people I'm talking about who don't have additional income streams
Income,
on
yeah.
the side,
Yeah.
right? They've gotten their 3%, 5% income raise per year
Yeah.
for 10 years, 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And they retire and I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
But then you have the other people who do the same thing, stay at the same position, but you find out later that they actually have additional streams of income, a lot of it being
Multitude.
rental properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are comfortable. So if they wanted to quit the next day,
They absolutely
they
could.
they don't need to show up to work because they don't want to. That's it. And I think that is the goal for a lot of people, is to
Yes.
dictate terms in terms of, do I really want to be doing this job? Do I really want to go into this type of job
Yeah.
tomorrow? Versus I need to go in to make sure I can pay rent, or I need to go in so I can pay my mortgage or whatever.
There's so many factors. And I was looking at demographics, and I think in the United States, the biggest factor that prevents people from reaching any form of financial independence is student debt. It is the bane of our generation.
Yeah. You're not starting from zero when
No.
you have that student debt. You're starting at negative whatever number you owe.
Yeah.
And for many people, just getting to zero is the goal.
Yeah.
But but a lot of people have that sigh of relief when they get to zero, because they're staring at negative whatever for, if you start at 18, you could be 40, 50 if you're lucky to start seeing that maybe the zero is getting closer. And then you're looking at what, in another 10, 15 years retiring? How?
Having a family, I mean, truly, again, I know we keep circling back to inflation, but I was looking at some statistics, and apparently the cost of raising a child has gone up 4 times since 1990. In actual numbers, the cost of raising a child today is about $310,000. And let me just tell you, that does not include college. That is just till the age of 18.
Wow.
So, $300,000 for a child, and most families I know, they aim for having 2 children. Right? So, I mean, we're talking about it, and we know how expensive daycare is. These are not expenses that start, say, at the age of 4 or 5. Right from anytime they hit like the 2-year mark or the 1.5-year mark, your expenses get blown up because you have daycare, you have doctor visits. It's just nonstop, and having that sort of you've decided to have a child, and that is obviously your first priority, and every parent wants to provide their child with the best of the best. But in those circumstances, like you said, stability is very important. Knowing that you're going to get a set amount of money every month, so you know that your child is going to be in the same school, in the same environment, consistency, it becomes a priority.
Yeah.
I think the hustle culture is here to stay. No doubts about it. It's just that I think you need to reframe it where, as we said in the beginning, it's no longer just a fantastical idea like, oh, I wish I could have a supplemental income. People are in dire need of that secondary income just to make ends meet. And I'm not sure where we're headed with that.